Yeah. My former colleague, Emmanuel Acho, now at FS1, had this to say about Angel Reese this week. Quote, Angel Reese, you can't be the big bad wolf and then kind of cry like Courage the Cowardly Dog. Nobody mourns when the villain catches an L. And Angel Reese, you're self-proclaimed to be the villain.
Stephen A. Smith just did what no one else dared to do. He looked straight into the camera and torched Angel Reese's reputation in a way that left fans stunned and the basketball world buzzing. This wasn't just analysis. It was a brutal reality check that could end the so-called Reese versus Clark rivalry once and for all. What did Stephen A. say? Why did he go after Angel Reese now? And how does Caitlin Clark fit into this explosive moment? Buckle up, because this is about to get intense.
It's not about black and white. It's about that white player and that black player. Why? Because of the history that they had before they came to the WNBA.
It all started with one performance, or rather, one disappearance. Angel Reese had her moment to shine under the biggest spotlight, and instead, she vanished. 4 points in 27 minutes. A 35-point loss. And Stephen A. Smith? He didn't just criticize her. He obliterated her, calling the outing less "I'll show them" and more "oops, I forgot where the hoop was." That's not commentary. That's a eulogy for the myth of Angel Reese, the superstar.
One of the things that we can't ignore, that part of the reason it was tough for Angel Reese when they lost Monday night is because LSU got their asses handed to them. Excuse my language, but it is necessary in this particular situation. Caitlin Clark gave it to them. Dropped 41, 9 of 18 shooting from three-point range, 9 of 20 to be exact, I'm sorry. And by the way, she put on an absolute show. She came out shooting from the logo and took it to them. She was clearly the best player on the court. And bust their living you know what.
This wasn't about one game. Stephen A. exposed a pattern. The hype around Reese has been louder than her production. More Instagram posts than made shots. More drama than dominance. Sure, she rebounds, and fans love to bring that up. But rebounds mean nothing if they don't turn into points. As Stephen A. put it, Reese is collecting boards like Pokemon cards, valuable to look at, useless if you don't use them. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark? She doesn't just grab headlines. She changes the entire league.
You can't want to be the villain. You can't pride yourself in being the villain, and then you lose, and all of a sudden you succumb to those emotions. That is true to some degree.
Here's where the rivalry collapses. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon. Even when benched with injury, she dominated conversations, headlines, and ticket sales. Angel Reese, meanwhile, looked more like a TikTok trend than a cornerstone franchise player. Stephen A. didn't sugarcoat it. He's yet to see Angel Reese be a true leader, outside of rebounding her own missed layups.
Love this woman. I really do. I love this young lady. I had the pleasure of doing an event with her, during Iowa's homecoming, because my man Mark Shapiro for WME took me down there, and we were panelists. 10,000 people showed up. It was absolutely phenomenal. This girl is the best in the world on a collegiate women's level. I don't care what anybody says. There's nobody better than her. She is a sensational talent. No question about it. She is the Steph Curry of women's basketball.
But this isn't the first time Reese has been in the eye of the storm. From her viral championship taunt in college, to constant beef on social media, to ejections and flagrant fouls in the WNBA, her career has been more about headlines than highlights. Add in Teresa Weatherspoon's shaky coaching defense of Reese, and you get a narrative that fans are calling scripted. Villain versus hero, Angel versus Caitlin. The WNBA desperately wants rivalries. They want drama to pull fans in. But Stephen A. Smith refused to play along.
He drew a line.
He defended Caitlin Clark as the real rising star while stripping away the manufactured aura around Angel Reese. And in doing so, he forced the league to confront a dangerous truth. Hype alone won't build women's basketball. Performance will. And right now, Reese isn't delivering. Fans are split. Some say Stephen A. went too far, that Angel Reese deserves patience. Others argue he only said what everyone was already thinking. Social media erupted, Reese loyalists posting her highlight reels, while Clark fans flooded comments with, "This is why she's the face of the league." What's clear? The conversation is bigger than one game. It's about the future of women's basketball. So, where does Angel Reese go from here? She has talent, no doubt. But Stephen A. Smith made one thing clear. The clock is ticking. This isn't college. This isn't Instagram. This is the pros. Either you show up or you get left behind. Reese must decide if she wants to be remembered as a viral moment or as a professional athlete who rose above the noise. Stephen A. Smith just cracked the facade. Angel Reese isn't untouchable. Caitlin Clark isn't slowing down. And the WNBA? It's standing at a crossroads. The question now is simple. Can Reese silence the critics and prove Stephen A. wrong? Or is this the beginning of the end for one of the league's most polarizing figures? Stephen A. Smith just did what everyone was whispering, and then some. In a blistering interview, he dismantled the hype around Angel Reese, defended Caitlin Clark as the true franchise force in the WNBA, and forced a national conversation about performance versus personality. Tonight, every quote, every stat, every reaction, and what this means for Reese, Clark, and the league itself. Stephen A. didn't mince words. Calling out a pattern, not just one game, he argued the narrative around Angel Reese is built more on social media and hype than on consistent pro-level production. He contrasted Reese's public persona with what he called true franchise impact, exemplified by Caitlin Clark. That segment went viral within hours. Stephen A. pointed to a handful of performances where Reese failed to translate hype into scoring. Fans watched a low-scoring outing during a blowout loss that became an instant meme, and analysts began tracking a broader trend: volume without efficiency. Reese's season included emotionally charged moments, technicals, an ejection, and public blow-ups. The WNBA has at times adjusted calls. For example, a previously assessed technical was later rescinded by the league, underscoring that not every headline tells the whole truth. Stephen A. framed the story as more than a personality clash. He defended Caitlin Clark's impact, Clark's scoring, her market draw, and the ripple effects she creates league-wide. Even while sidelined with injury this season, Clark's presence dominated headlines and ratings, a contrast Stephen A. used to make his point. Media narratives matter. High-profile voices, from national TV personalities to viral podcasters, can elevate or eviscerate a player's image. Stephen A.'s segment was magnified because he isn't just a commentator, he's a cultural amplifier. That amplification turned isolated events into a season-long storyline. This story isn't just statistics and sound bites, it's a young athlete under extraordinary pressure. There have also been discussions about the racialized dimension of criticism aimed at Reese. Those conversations are real and deserve nuance. Experts say elite rookies need media training, veteran mentorship, and mental health support to survive the scrutiny. The next chapter is simple: respond or retreat. Reese can lean into training, accountability, and sustained performance to change the narrative. The Sky's coaching staff and front office also face choices: protect a star and develop her, or pivot roster construction around proven production. For the WNBA, the bigger issue is long-term: how the league nurtures its young stars while protecting competitive integrity and public trust. Stephen A. dropped a verdict, and the court of public opinion erupted. But the only real test will be on the hardwood. Will Angel Reese answer? Can Caitlin Clark's impact survive injury? The WNBA story is still being written, and you're watching it unfold. Drop your take below. Was Stephen A. right, or did he go too far? Like, subscribe, and hit the bell. We'll be tracking every development. With Clark's star rising, every Sky loss and every Reese meltdown adds pressure. Her emotional reactions, from walking off interviews to heated on-court exchanges, have sparked criticism and support in equal measure. Some fans see her as a villain, others as a young player unfairly targeted by media bias. But one thing's for sure: the spotlight is only getting hotter. The media firestorm hasn't helped. ESPN segments dissect her every move. Dave Portnoy mocked her online, while Shaquille O'Neal, her biggest defender, even pressed her on his own podcast about work ethic and consistency. And then came Sue Bird, the four-time champion who stressed that young players need to prioritize basketball over branding. Many fans took that as a direct shot at Angel Reese. Behind the scenes, Chicago Sky head coach Teresa Weatherspoon has had the impossible task managing Reese's growth under the hottest spotlight in women's basketball. A Hall of Famer herself, Weatherspoon has defended her player publicly while pushing her privately to refocus. Insiders say she sees the potential, but also the immaturity that must be addressed if Reese wants a long career.